You're on SaharaTV still, and you're welcome back. Ghana has over 20 registered political parties. However, since the fourth advent, only 2 of them have been in control of the nation's affairs. I'm talking about the National Democratic Congress, which is still ruling, and the New Patriotic Party. What are the prospects for a third political force? Is it desirable? Which of these other 20 or so political parties is well positioned to take over the reins of power from either the NPP or the NDC? We have in the studio right now the national chairman of the Progressive People's Party, Nii Allotey Brew-Hammond, and he's going to help us to digest this subject. You're welcome to SaharaTV, Nii.
Thank you.
And
Mr. Baako, for inviting the Progressive People's Party to come and share its views on the way forward for our beloved country, Ghana.
Totally. So first of all, let me ask you, does Ghana need a third political force at all?
Well, it does if you look at the disappointment on the faces of many Ghanaians today. Many Ghanaians are disappointed in the performance of the 2 leading political parties. They expected more than that. There is Dumso that I'm sure you are all aware of and hear when you communicate with your relatives back home. Has been going on for too long. We've had Dumso in the PNDC era, we have Dumso in the first Rawlings NDC, and we've had successive Dumsos, but this is taking a national kick. Lasted for 3 years, and is demonstrating that the government of the day is clueless as to how to resolve this crisis, which has resulted in entrepreneurs laying off some of their employees and therefore affecting the economy in various ways.
So let's look at the issue realistically. Winning an election obviously requires more than a good message, at least in our part of the world. You need finances, you need to study the political terrain properly and strategize and all of that. How ready do you think your party, the PPP, is to assume power in Ghana?
Well, we are ready to assume power. We have our front runner, Dr. Kwesi, and who has served in previous governments before, and has managed to establish various companies that has employed a good number of Ghanaians. It is a desire that we'll be able to translate all of that has been achieved in the private sector in the public sector, so that we can use the government's purchasing power to improve the lives of many Ghanaians.
So talking about Papa Kwesi and his political career, though, he originally came from an Nkrumahist background. He came from a background of an Nkrumahist influence. He, however, served in the government of the NPP, which has a Buziaist, so to speak, influence. Now, these are 2 juxtaposing points of view, if you will. Isn't this going to work against your flag bearer?
It shouldn't, if people understand how that relationship came about. It came about in 2000 when all the political parties except for NDC supported NPP to win, with the assurances that it was a grand alliance that was going to benefit all of the other smaller political parties that came into an alliance. And CPP was one of the political parties that entered into that grand alliance or great alliance with the NPP to win. So if you look at it, the CPP as a party supported NPP in the 2000 runoff. And as a result of that, as a result of the NPP winning from that Grand Alliance, the CPP was offered some slots to fill. And that slot included that of Professor Hagen, went to serve with the NPP administration. Mr. Blay went to serve with the administration, and so did Papa Kwesi. There were others from the CPP that were selected by the PPP National Executive Committee to represent the party at that in that alliance. So it's a misnomer to describe it as Dr. Indom, having come from an Nkrumah's CPP, to go and say he wasn't the only one that went to do that service. And it was a public service that he's proud of. He doesn't shy away from that service, encourages Ghanaians of different political parties to be able to offer themselves to help improve the standard of living of Ghanaians. Okay,
so now Papa Kwesi was with the CPP. There are also so many other political parties who claim an Nkrumah's leaning. Isn't it about time to bring all these families together to form perhaps a bigger force that can conveniently nudge the NDC or the NPP out of power?
Well, it's interesting that our background seems to follow. As Dr. Indom coming from a CPP that describes itself as Nkrumahist. With the formation of the Progressive People's Party, we decided to chart a different course. And that course led us to describe ourselves as pragmatic progressives. So we are pragmatic. We are not, of the ideology sector. So we have moved away from ideology to
a more pragmatic
progressives, because we believe that it is not the ideology that is going to put food on the table. We know Ghanaians are hungry. They need food. And we need to do what we can to make sure that there's food on the table. We know that Ghanaians are failing in the schools. They are not moving on to senior high school and into tertiary, vocational, technical institute to learn those skills that a nation requires. And effort must be made to do that. We know that the sanitary conditions in the country are so bad that, we're just lucky Ebola skipped over us. But perennially, we have cholera and dysentery and all these other diseases that we can prevent if we address our environment. So that's where we want to focus on and not focus on other things.
So if I understand what you're saying, the whole idea of having political traditions really should be done away with. We shouldn't necessarily have a Dankwa Buze tradition, an Nkrumah tradition. We should just have like a common tradition that departs from the past, if you will.
Well, we are appealing to like-minded people. We know that we all know the same. People will have ideas about how to run an administrative system. But we believe that if we are able to attract like-minded people, then we can appeal to the populace, the voters, to see that our way is the best way. Our way is the better way.
How realistic is this, though, against the backdrop of all the politicking that really goes on, all the money that exchanges hands during campaigning and all of that? You are a rather small party. How realistic is this?
Well, everything starts from small beginnings. And we are starting from a beginning that we believe is humble enough that the average voter will be able to see our commitment to improving their lives. They have been able to offer the two leading parties a chance to transform their lives. And in the last 23 years, you and I will agree that they have not. That is what becomes the reality check for the average voter to be able to look elsewhere. And every election cycle offers us an opportunity to shape our future. And this 2016 elections that are coming is also offering the average voter a chance to shape its future. And we are there to offer ourselves as the alternate to the two failing political parties so that they can give us a chance.
Okay, finally, in nearby Nigeria, we had a similar situation where the PDP had been in power for some 16 or so years, and then the other parties came together and formed an alliance, which is now the APC, and successfully nudged the PDP out of power. Are you considering something similar come 2016?
No, we have always been open to alliances and collaborative efforts since we came in 2012. We did not shut our door to collaborative efforts. And I believe that it's something that's still on the table. I just told you of 2000 election where there was a collaborative effort to elect John Ajekum Kufuor. Ghana has not shied away from collaborating and forming alliances, and I don't believe that it's something that is taken off the table.
Okay. Finally, you are in the U.S. promoting your party and working really hard. How do we, if I'm a person who's interested in, joining the PPP, what's the procedure?
Well, the procedure is to get in touch with the party. We have an email, ppp.
Which is running on the screen right now, viewers. All the contact details are all there.
gmail.com. Once you reach out to the party, we'll get in touch with you and then start the process of cementing and formalizing our effort. You will agree with me that every government must address poverty, must address corruption. Unfortunately, we see poverty deepening in our society, and year in, year out, we hear corruption increasing and reaching unprecedented proportions. The time has come for the Ghanaian voter to rethink its association with the two leading political parties and swing their vote to the Progressive People's Party, where they will see that within 4 years, using the government's purchasing power, we can transform the nation.
Thank you so much, Nii Allotey Brew-Hammond, and all the best in your efforts to change the destiny of Ghanaians.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
This has been Nii Allotey Brew-Hammond, National Chairman of the Progressive People's Party in Ghana. Stay tuned, SaharaTV. Next, we have more coming.